Yeah. I see his picture on the screen. I'm like, Mom, that is the guy. That's
why we turned on the news, bitch. See why this lady had her husband held hostage in a closet.
And to show off, I would have tried to get laughs. There's no question. The room was empty. She walked through, walked down the hall, walked into another room, shot 7 kids, killed one of them.
Because what are we doing?
You don't know what you'll see. Welcome to CHELA'S TV. Flip the channel, don't blink twice. Every frame got a different life. Whispers echo, shadows creep. Something's watching while you sleep. Hear the whisper through the sound. Every secret spinning around. Welcome to CHELA'S TV, where nothing's ever what it seems. Switching up reality bends. Every story never ends. Welcome to CHELA'S TV. Stay a while, don't try to leave. Love the screen, it's all the same. Once you're in, you know the name. Don't change the channel. Don't change the channel.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is CHELA and you are watching CHELA'S TV. Now go ahead, grab you some chocolate covered pretzels, some spicy Doritos, and a nice cold glass of lemonade iced tea. And sit back, and get yourself all, comfy. Have you guys ever had that sudden feeling where something just feels off? Like maybe you meet someone and their energy is completely wrong, just bad vibes radiating off of them. Or could be completely alone in a room minding your own business, and out of nowhere your spidey senses start tingling, your ears are ringing, or you get this instant wave of doom. And no, I'm not talking about like the doom you feel when you realize like you forgot to take your chicken out to defrost. I mean that deep spiritual something is looking at me kind of doom. That right there, that's your intuition. And when you feel it, you have to listen to it. Don't try to be a hero in a horror movie who walks straight to the creepy noise you heard in the backyard. To me, intuition and discernment go hand in hand. Not that. They basically coincide to keep you out of a coffin. Think of it like this. Your intuition is an alarm system that screams, hey, something is wrong here. And your discernment is the internal radar that instantly analyzes the situation so you don't do something stupid. Like, for example, let's say you're walking to your car at night in a quiet parking lot. Suddenly, the hairs on your back of your neck stands up. Yeah, that's your intuition firing off. Now, a person without discernment might think, that's just the wind, and keep walking. But your discernment, it kicks in. You look ahead, notice a shady car parked way too close to yours with the engine running. Now today, Satan, you turn around, walk into the bright store and wait, or catch a bus and go home, right? Those two things work together. That is literally how you save yourself from a world of trouble. Because honestly, ignoring that inner voice is how people end up as the opening scene of a true crime documentary. So today, I've gathered a bunch of clips of people sharing their own insane stories. Some of these are wild, some are creepy, and some will honestly just make you want to double check your door. Go ahead, double check your door and lock it right now. So we're going to watch these together and see exactly how trusting your gut can change everything. Let's dive right in.
my intuition and listening to my gut feelings saved my life, and this is what happened. I was in high school, Pokemon Go was the thing. I wasn't playing it, but I had a lot of friends who were playing it, and one of my best friends was super into it. She was over at my house. We were trying to figure out what to do on a weekend night, and she was like, should we just drive around and go get Pokemon? I don't really know how it works, so when I explain the Pokemon parts of the story, give me some grace here. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. Why not? Like, I'll drive. And so we're driving around town. We kind of spend like a long time doing this. I think we probably stopped for Dutch Bros, the whole thing. We were out there for a few hours. And we were on our way home going through the community college because we saw that there was some Pokemons to pick up there. When we were driving through, I see lights in my rearview mirror. And I'm like, I think we're being pulled over, but it looks like a campus security car. I'm really not sure. And so she was like, yeah, I guess we just pull over. So I go into the parking lot right there on campus and I pull over, and the guy comes up to my window and he's like, hey ladies, what are you guys doing? I was like, actually, we're just playing some Pokemon Go. I was like, I'm driving. I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing anything. I was like, she's doing the Pokemon part. I'm doing the driving. And he was like, well, you can't be around here past 10 p.m. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. And he was like, yeah, we have a curfew and you can't drive through campus past 10. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I just live in the area. I'm not a student on campus, so I didn't know these rules. And he was like, you're good. You guys said you were doing Pokemon? I was like, yeah, we are. And he was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I've heard there's a really good one to catch up by the gymnasium. I was like, oh, cool. We'll come back for it maybe another day. He's like, oh, probably won't be there. But I can show you really quick before you guys leave campus. And I was like, immediately I'm like, something feels weird. Like, I don't really know what. It wasn't a big deal, but like something just felt wrong. So I was like, you know what? We're going to head home. He's like, seriously, it's like 5 minutes. And I look at my friend. He's like, but you guys are going to have to like get out because you can't drive up there. You have to walk up. But it's a quick walk. Immediately chills down my spine. I'm like, oh, why do you want me out of my car? And I was like, we're really close to my curfew. My parents will kill me if I'm not home on time. I'm so sorry. I've got to go. But are we good here? Like on a law level? Like, have I broken any laws? He's like, no, you're good. You guys are good to go home. I was like, thank you so much, sir. Have a good night. And I drive home. I drop my friend off. I get home. My mom's like, hey, how was your night? I was like, it was good. I was like, we had a lot of fun, but did you know that COCC has a curfew? She was like, what? I was like, yeah, I guess you can't like drive through campus past 10 p.m. She was like, I didn't know that, but okay. She was like, were you on campus? I was like, yeah, we drove through, but I didn't know that. We got pulled over. And I was like, and then the guy like wanted to show us a Pokemon Go, but he said we had to get out of our car. I tell her the whole story, and she's like, Alexander, that's really weird. She's like, I'm glad you're home, but good thing you didn't get out of the car. Like, thanks for being smart, whatever, the whole thing. I'm like, okay, good night. So not even a week later, on the news, in my small town, mind you, like pretty much everyone knows everybody. I see on the news that there has been a murder on the community college campus. And it was a young blonde girl walking home, and the campus security guard is the suspect on the loose. Yeah. I see his picture on the screen. I'm like, Mom, that is the guy. That's the guy from the other night that wanted she and I to get out of the car. And she was like, what? And I'm like, yes, that is him. Months go by, he gets caught, the whole thing, everyone's rattled. I'm like, that is so scary. It gets worse. Dateline comes out with a whole thing on it. And, Dateline, they do the whole investigation. They, get all the info. It turns out that he had premeditated this months before, and that was looking for a his prime person that he wanted, and it was a young blonde. There was more to it. I can't remember the whole Dateline episode. I've watched it once, never doing it again. But my profile matched exactly what he was looking for, and I have never felt sicker to my stomach, but I am so grateful I listened to my intuition and that I was lucky enough to just be in my car and be able to drive away, and not the poor girl that was just walking home and was helpless. But I just want everyone to know that, like, if you get a weird feeling, if something happens and you just don't feel right, listen to yourself. I just did a different story time on being stalked in the airport on my airplane. So many people in the comments were like, you should have said something sooner. And you know what? That's so true. But in the moment, you're so shocked it's happening to you. And I think we've been conditioned to be like, don't overreact. It's not a big deal. And that, like, if you do report things, you feel silly because sometimes people, like, don't take you seriously and they're like, yeah, okay. He literally was just looking at you weird. But you can feel it, and always listen to yourself. Always, always, always listen to your intuition, your gut feeling. Do not let that go. I make these videos of stories that happen. These are real stories that happen in my life. And the reason I do it is because I've had so many people say, like, thank you so much for saying this. Like, I didn't even know this was possible. Or if this happens, now I know how to react or how not to react. And that's all I hope for. If someone can learn anything from me, like literally take anything away from these videos, I'm happy. I just want y'all to know, listen to your gut instincts. Everything in you is telling you what to do. Just listen to it. It can be so scary, and people can make you feel so silly for reporting things or whatever, or removing yourself from situations when something feels off. But better safe than sorry, always.
People don't like to admit this, but a woman's intuition is not this magical sixth sense. Actually, it's deeply logical. That's why one of CIA's best kept secrets is their best spies are women. Let me tell you why and how to tell the difference between anxious thoughts and actual intuition. Ladies, you know when you're watching a movie and you can predict the exact plotline, who's gonna end up together, who's gonna die, who's the evil one? Well, that's because this is who passed down their bloodline to us. Girls say, you go, me watch baby. I get belly feeling. Me keep baby. Man say I keep you safe. Man has angry eyes. Me not trust them. Women who could pick up micro expressions in less than 1/25th of a second could survive in a wild world where they were physically vulnerable. First, they noticed small eye movements, changes in behavior. Second, the small cues got stored in their subconscious memory. And when all the dots connect, you know that feeling? It feels like a message being delivered to the conscious brain. But most people never actually hear their intuition because it gets lost in a sea of anxious thoughts. There are 3 ways to see if it's intuition or anxiety. First, the reason they call it a gut feeling is because our gut is filled with neurotransmitters. You get the thought and sit down. Do you feel it in your gut or in your head? Second, the stillness test. When you sit still in the thought for 10 seconds, do you get more questions or just a quiet knowing feeling? Third, this is like a superpower. Write down the feeling as simple as possible and ask yourself why you feel that way 5 times. If it's anxious, it will be revealed. If it's intuition, the subconscious memories will come to the surface, superpowering your decision. What was one intuition that came true for you? Let me know in the comments.
Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't have proof that you were in danger, but your gut feeling was telling you that you...
Oh God, yes. I have a terrifying story about this. So I had been traveling and I just got into the airport. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I really needed a shower, and the only showers they had in the whole airport were in the international section. To get to that terminal, you had to take a tram. And so the airport is virtually empty at that time of night, morning. And as I am walking to the area where you can get on the trams, going up the stairs, and I suddenly feel like someone is looking at me. I look left, I look right, I don't see anything. I'm light, I'm tired, whatever. Get to the tram area. It's like this big open room, and there are tracks running on either side. You have to wait for a tram to come. And I walk into the room and I hear something, which is like, if you've ever heard ringing in your ears, and you know that it's not something that's physically present, but it's like in your being. And it wasn't ringing. It was like nails on a chalkboard, and it just screamed danger. All of the hair on my body stands up, and I can't see him at this point, but I feel a man walk into the room. He's about 10 feet behind me, and I can feel his eyes boring into the back of my head. I generally don't feel unsafe around men, even like at night in a space like that. I've never had a problem before with it, but I just knew something was wrong. The tram pulls up, the doors open, and I realized that if I get in that tram with this man and we're the only 2 people, he is going to do something. So I take 2 steps toward it, and I kind of fake him out and step back, and I start walking out of the room as quickly as I can. He turns around, because he was going to go into the tram, he turns around, looks at me, and starts to follow, and he's walking even faster. This all happened so fast, like in between the time that he came into the room, I realized what was happening, faked him out, and walked out, maybe like 45 seconds had elapsed. So I was not making these decisions consciously. I don't know what came over me, but when I got to the top of the escalator, I had like this hatred, this wrath, and this sheer anger well up in me. And it was like I stopped, stood my ground, and stared at him. And all of that really like hateful emotion that I was feeling, I like know it was radiating out of my face, my eyes, my entire being. It was like we were having a whole unspoken conversation. I still get like wigged out talking about this. He comes out of the room and sees me, and he looks like a little bit taken aback. He stops dead in his tracks, and then he slowly continues forward, walking straight down the escalator, and we do not break eye contact. It's literally like we are locked in a dead stare. And it was like this moment from having gone from him feeling like he was a predator to suddenly feeling uncertain, like I was no longer prey because of something in my body language, whatever came over me. Because I think that my attitude was at that point was like, you may be biologically bigger, you may be stronger, but if you lay hands on me, I am taking pieces of you out with my teeth. Like, it was no unclear terms, even though not a single word was spoken. And I think that everyone has access to intuition like that, but I think it's especially prominent in women. And it's so important to listen to it because it keeps us safe. What was even crazier is the friends that picked me up from this airport, I told them the story, and the woman was like, I had a similar experience once where I was in my car. I felt like someone was following me, and I noticed this guy who I'd seen several lights back who had like looked over and like waved or something. And she'd gotten into her neighborhood, and he was still following her. And she drove past her house because she didn't want this person to know where she lived, and he was still following her. And she went all these strange, random little nooks and crannies, and he was still following her. She ended up calling the police, and when the police was later running plates, they found that it was connected to all kinds of trafficking related things. So again, like, ladies, listen to your intuition. It may save your life.
Y'all, please pay attention to your surroundings and trust your intuition. Yesterday, I was on my way to the store to make a return, and I got to the stoplight and I noticed this car pull up next to me, and his window was rolled all the way down. And my windows are tinted, so I didn't think much of it, but I can tell that he's looking over at my car. So I'm like, okay, whatever. The light turns green, we both pull forward, and I pull behind him because I need to turn into the parking lot. We get stopped by another stoplight, and at this point, I'm behind his car, and I can see him looking at his side mirror the entire red light. Like, he just keeps looking in his side mirror. And at this point, I was starting to feel a little bit weird because, yes, my windows are tinted, but when the sun is out, you can still see into my car. So I was like, is he looking at me? The light turns green, we both pull forward. I turn on my signal to turn into the parking lot. He turns on his signal to turn into the parking lot. So then he pulls into the parking lot, I pull into the parking lot. He goes one way, I go another way. So I was like, okay, that was just weird. Like, let me go on about my business. Now, there are several stores in this plaza, so I find the store that I need to go to and I park my car, and something just tells me, don't get out the car. Like, don't do it. So I'm just sitting in my car and I wait a couple minutes and I see him pull in front of my car. And I'm like, okay, he slows down a little bit and then he just keeps going. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like really alerted. Like, this is really odd, right? So I wait in my car for another minute or so, and then I see him circle my vehicle again for the second time. And at this point, I'm taking pictures. And in the pictures, you can literally see him looking at my vehicle the entire time he's passing my car. So I wait in my car for another 5 minutes or so and I don't see him. So I just shake it off and I go into the store. As I'm walking into the store, I look back and I see him literally sitting in his car in the same row, like where my car is parked, and he's just like a couple spaces down. And there are plenty of parking spaces available, so he's just sitting there. So I go into the store and I make my return, and I spend like a good 15-20 minutes just like walking around, just trying to calm myself down. So I leave the store and I'm looking around the parking lot and I don't see his car anymore. So I'm like, okay, phew, like that was weird. As soon as I get near my car, I look over and I see that he's parked in a spot and he's watching me walk to my car. He sees that I see him and he looks at me and he goes like this and starts smiling. So I get in my car and I call my mom, I call my best friend. I'm just trying to figure out what to do because at this point, like, I know he's watching me. So I sit in my car for like 10 minutes and I finally get a hold of my best friend, and this entire time he's still watching me. So I pull off and drive to my nearest police station. So I filed an incident report, and thank God I got pictures of his vehicle, his license, and him. So the moral of the story is to pay attention to your surroundings and trust your intuition, because if something doesn't feel right, Most likely it's not.
Tell me your craziest story about intuition and how it ended up being true. I want to be freaked out. I want to hear these stories and be like, what? I'll tell you mine. I've been thinking about this a lot because I have a baby son now and I have this weird connection with him, like intuition. He can be in another room asleep, not even make a peep, and I just know when he's awake. Like, I always know what he's up to and I always turn out to be right. Intuition's real. When I was 20, I was calling into this radio station trying to win tickets to see Jay-Z, and one time I got through and I won the tickets, but the only caveat was that I had to go downtown to Chicago to their physical office and pick up the physical tickets. Like, they weren't doing will call. So I was living with my parents at the time. We lived about 30 minutes away from this office. So I was leaving to go pick up the tickets, and it was middle of January, and my mom was like, hey, I think you should take my car. She was driving a bigger SUV. It was like a Honda CR-V at the time, and I had like this little Hyundai Elantra. We never had switched cars before. Like, I always drove my car. She always drove hers. But this day she was like, take my car. I don't know why it's cold. Just take my car. Her car was a lot nicer than mine. So obviously I was like, okay, I'll take her car. So I took her car, went down, picked up the tickets, like whatever. On my way back, I was on the interstate and it was like freezing cold. And I noticed this semi in front of me. Like, he started to fishtail. Like, the back of his truck was swaying. Like, he was struggling to get control of his truck. He was all the way in the left lane, and I decided to go in the middle lane and pass him, like, on the right, even though you're not supposed to do that. I was just like, I have to get away from this guy. While I was passing him, the back end of his truck swung into the front driver's side door of my mom's CR-V. And it hit me hard enough that I spun out across the interstate and crashed into another car in the median. Airbags went off, totaled the car. Ambulances, cops, the whole interstate shut down. That's the only time I've ever been in an ambulance, and made a full recovery. I was fine. However, the police and doctors said that if I had been in a car any smaller than that CR-V, I would have been dead. How did she know? So yeah, stitches with yours.
This story is a prime example as to why you should always trust your intuition, especially when it has to do with a person. I used to have a coworker on my old job that for whatever reason, something about her just never sat right with me. I'm a pretty easygoing person, so if I feel like your energy's off, I just kind of keep my distance, but I keep things polite and professional, being that we do work together. For whatever reason, I noticed that she would always ask about me and come looking for me whenever I was off work. I found this to be a bit odd, being that I wasn't really close to her. We were just co-workers. I worked at separate departments, mind you. One day around Christmas time, she randomly just shows up with a gift for me. I open it and it's a huge bottle of tequila. She knows I love margaritas, but just, again, she was one of those people that I kind of just hit hello from a distance, so it was weird for her to just show up with a gift for me and not anyone else. I, of course, said thank you, and in my head, alarm bells went off. It was like, don't touch it, don't drink it, just don't. I politely took it, said thank you, and that was kind of the end of it. Took it home. I ended up putting it in like one of my liquor cabinets, and I completely forgot about it. Me still trying to talk myself out of it. I'm like, I'm just being paranoid. She's just some random lady from my job. Like, I've never done anything to her. Maybe she's just being polite. Maybe she really was just trying to be nice. Months go by and I remember that I need to bring tequila to my mom's house because we were doing something. I remember the bottle and I'm like, well, I have a perfectly good bottle here. Why am I going to waste this when it's here? And all of this paranoia is all in my head anyways. I take it to my mom's house. I sit on her counter. The minute I sit on her counter, mind you, my mom's super sensitive. She's even more sensitive than I am. As soon as I set the bottle on the counter, she's like, where did that bottle come from? I explained to her, oh, one of my coworkers gave it to me. She right away goes, you need to throw this bottle away, discard this bottle immediately. And I'm like, why? She then begins to tell me that the minute she saw the bottle, she picked up on its energy, and right away she knew that it did not come with good intention. She explained to me, and again, my mom's extremely intuitive. She explained to me that the person who gave me this bottle wanted like ill intent. She wanted me to be harmed, but this bottle did not come from her. Someone actually gave this to her, wishing her harm, and her response was to give it to me. The whole purpose of this bottle was for anyone who consumed it, that person would go crazy. I was a little mad at myself for not trusting my intuition in the first place, but also thankful that my mom was able to pick up on it. And I actually ended up leaving that job for unrelated reasons, but I remember for months after, I constantly had people that I used to work with telling me that she would constantly go up to them, asking them about me and how I was doing and if I was okay. I wonder why.
Bitch, I'm so glad my mama don't sell Avon no more, because tell me why, bro. Why when she was selling Avon, I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. you know, I guess they was like representatives for Avon who were like, you know, you go meet them, they'll give you the products, and then that's, you know, and you'll take the product and you'll go sell or whatever. I remember we went to go meet this lady, bitch, and I think we was at Shoney's, but we went to some restaurant to meet her, and for some reason Shoney's keep coming up in my head, but I think it was Shoney's. We went to go meet her. I remember her and my mama talking about about the products. I was just like, I don't know, it's just something about this damn lady, mama. I don't know what it is, but shit, get your Avon products and let's go. Hell, y'all over here yipping and yapping. Come on here. So a couple of months went by, and my mama was like, I ain't heard from the Avon lady, and she needs to re-up on her products. I'm like, well, mama, it's okay. I don't know. Like, maybe she gonna come out the woodworks. Maybe she on vacation or something. Y'all, tell me why we turned on the news, bitch. Tell me why this lady had her husband held hostage in a closet, and tell me why she was planning to off his ass, bitch. And we sitting across this lady talking about some fucking Avon, and your ass got this man held hostage in a closet, and you getting ready to bitch. I would never forget that. I would never ever forget that. And this is why I feel like back then I didn't even know, like, I was young, right? I wasn't up to par on what my intuition was, but my stomach was like not settling with her ass. Like, I was really ready to go. Like, mama, come on, shit, hell, I'm ready to go, hell. And my mama just probably think I'm being some antsy kid, just, you know, ready to, you know, just can't sit the fuck still. No, something ain't right with her. And y'all ass he and ha-ha. Bitch, I would never forget that. I'm so glad she don't sell Avon no more, because bitch, you
When you've been given the gift of knowing something that you weren't supposed to know, 9 times out of 10, the last thing that you should do is confront the person or the people that were trying to keep you in the dark. The gift of knowing is protection. And you'll know you have the gift of knowing when, one, without you even trying, and maybe you weren't even suspicious at all, but some way, somehow, you'll just happen to come across evidence by accident. 2, you'll have a dream about it, and you'll have a very, very strong feeling about this dream. 3 is someone will feel prompted to come to you and reveal the truth to you. And this person could be random. It could be your friend, it could be a stranger, or they could even be friends with the person or the people who are trying to keep you in the dark. 4 is you just know. You just feel it in your fucking body. You don't know how, but you just know. And 5, this one's more subtle, but you'll just happen to see or witness something that you weren't supposed to. For example, let's say that you're with a group of people and you're facing this way. Something just makes you want to turn this way. You'll just happen to see either a body language or a micro expression, or you'll see like 2 people communicating to each other, and you just witness something that you weren't supposed to see. It's hard to explain, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The reason I'm talking about this is most people who have this gift, oftentimes they misuse it. You knowing something is for you to know, and you only, 9 times out of 10. When you take what you know and you take it up with that person or those people, you're putting yourself in a battlefield. Here's what you need to understand. When you come to someone and you let them know that you've uncovered something that you were never supposed to find out, they feel exposed. And this exposure feels like an attack for them. And they're going to have their defenses up, and they're going to take up arms against you. Even if you're coming from a good place, you've come to them with what you know because you want to ask questions, you're curious, you want to get things straight. That type of exposure is threatening. You have now threatened their control over you. You've threatened their control over the narrative. And you've threatened their control over how they're perceived. 9 times out of 10, instead of just taking accountability and just admitting it, they will attack you instead. They will flip the script and now make you seem like the aggressor because you're making them seem like someone that they're not. They will gaslight the shit out of you, and they will work hard to discredit you. Because here's the thing, they were doing something shady and they were trying to be deceptive. You finding out means you see them for what they are, or you see them for what they're doing. And they don't like that you see it. So now they got to discredit you. Now they're going to turn around and reach out to your guys' mutuals. And they're going to come up with some type of narrative that makes you seem crazy, that makes you seem problematic, dramatic, chaotic, all the autics. This gift is protection. It's not always meant to be weaponized. This is where people with this gift oftentimes struggle, because as soon as you know something, you rush to expose, or you rush to clap back at somebody. A lot of times, this is not how you use this gift. You use this gift to see where you need to set up boundaries and protection. You use it to now realign yourself. If you were putting too much trust in these people, or you were aligned with certain people, now this is for you to slowly break away from them and start aligning yourself with other people or somewhere else. This gift is meant to show you when you're investing in the wrong things or in the wrong people. When you have this gift, it takes a lot of responsibility and it takes a lot of self-control.
Always listen to your intuition when it tells you not to do something, because today my homeboys hit me up and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take you to my homeboy's party out Ashburn. I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there around 9:30, but it was already 8:40 and I was dressed. So I started scrolling on TikTok and I seen this girl named Bree Heat making a Mississippi pot roast. And it started making me real hungry. So I was like, you know what, let me run to the store real quick and get the stuff to make a Mississippi pot roast so I can have it when I get home. So boom, I walk all the way to the store. I get all the way to the meat aisle, and when I get to the meat aisle, I see that the chuck roast is $20. I'm like, oh no. So I look behind the chuck roast and I keep looking at all the prices of everything behind it, and I finally find one that's $9. So I just throw it in my cart. So I throw everything that I need for the Mississippi pot roast in my cart. So as I get to the cash register, something's telling me, put it all back. Just put it all back. I'm like, no, I really want to make it. So I put it all in my cart. I pay for it. I'm walking home. As I get to my elevator to my apartment, he was like, yeah, I'm 10 minutes out. So I'm like, okay, let me hurry up and get upstairs and make this. So I bust out my crock pot. I get everything out the bag. And what do you know? I flip the meat over, and the meat is not chuck roast. It's pepper steak. No wonder it was $9. So I'm instantly irritated. So I turn my crock pot off and I just put the meat in the refrigerator, and I get myself ready to go downstairs. So I go downstairs and we get in his car and we go all the way to Ashburn to his homeboy's house. So his homeboy greet us at the door, and he daps him up and he said, hey, everybody downstairs, including some Chanel. So I'm like, oh, including some Chanel. What I didn't realize is he was saying everyone's downstairs, including Chantel. I don't care. I just brushed past him because I'm like, put me in Chanel. And I go downstairs and I'm looking around like, where is Chanel at? This is that type of party. So I see this girl. She comes up to me. She was like, oh my God, I'm meeting you in person. I'm like, yes, it's me. It's Key. She was like, who do you know? Who do you know here? I said, oh, I came with Olu. He's upstairs. She was like, hold on, you came with Olu? I'm like, yeah. She was like, hold on. She was like, Chantel, come here. She was like, see who this is? She was like, oh my God, you're the girl from TikTok. I'm like, yeah, girl. She was like, I love your videos. And then the girl whispers to Chantel. She was like, yeah, she came here with Olu. We upstairs. So then she just looked at me and she was just like, I can't do this to you, girl. Like, you can't even fight. I'm not even going to do it to you. So I'm like, girl, what's up with all the shade? Like, what's going on? She was like, no, come over here and talk to me, girl. Come talk to me. So she's pulling me over. She kind of drunk, stumbling and stuff. So she was like, yeah, me and Olu actually dated for like 4 years. We recently broke up because I told him he needs to propose to me. So she's just pretty much trauma dumping on me. So, but she's being a little bit aggressive with it. So I started looking at my phone, ordering an Uber because I need to get out of here. Because in my head, I'm thinking, if I don't receive what she's saying, she's going to beat me up because of how emotional she is. The fact that I'm here with Olu and I don't even care about him. So I'm like, yeah. So as I'm looking at the Uber app saying that the freaking Uber truck not gonna be there for 15 minutes. So I was like, you know what, girl? I'm gonna tell him to come downstairs and talk to you because this just not right. And she was like, yeah, like he shouldn't be doing this to me. Like I was like, yo, girl, you know, I'm not even here for all this. Like, you know, that's your man. Go get your man, girl. So I'm hyping it up so she will not even think about beating me up because she's a Lisa Leslie type. All she gotta do is bust my head like Bob the Builder and I'm gonna be gone. So I was like, let me go upstairs and get him. So I go up to him and I was like, you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. Your girl downstairs. Your girl down. He was like, no, don't you play with me. I said, I'm gonna go upstairs real quick. I gotta use the bathroom. He was like, yeah, go use the bathroom. So I go in the bathroom and I sit in there until my Uber says it's 2 minutes away. So once my Uber says it's 2 minutes away, I go walk through the foyer and I see in the kitchen my freaking coat is sitting on the chair. So I pick my coat up and I open the refrigerator because I want something to drink. So I open the refrigerator and I see there's cup waters. But next to the cup waters, what do you know? Is a chuck roast. So I grab the chuck roast out with a cup water and I walk straight out and I tip down the driveway and get in my Uber. So as I get in my Uber and I'm riding, I'm drinking my freaking cup water, I turn the chuck roast over. What do you know? This chuck roast was $32. So now I'm at home making a Mississippi pot roast, y'all. Won't God do it, y'all? Won't God do it? Come see this. Come see this freaking chuck roast. Hold up. Y'all not gonna believe me, y'all. Look at it. It's cooking. And it smells so good.
Ladies, your intuition could literally save your life. Story time on how I possibly saved myself from being milled mafficked or maped. I was at a stadium watching a game, and I needed to pee really bad because I was drinking so much water. Normally I don't pee in public places, but this day I was drinking so much water, so I really needed to pee. And the game was mid-game. It's not like intermission mid-game. I mean, like, it was mid-game, like they were still playing on the field. So I walked up the stadium stairs to go to the bathroom, which was like outside of the stadium. So if you know anything about stadiums, once you walk out of the doors of the stadium, you're technically outside, but that's like still inside of the property, but outside of where everyone else is. So it's kind of like two different worlds. So mind you, it wasn't like a big game. It was like a little scrimmage. So the people that should be there is like family and friends should be there. So there were a maximum of like 50, 60 people. So before I get into the bathroom, right as I walk out of the stadium stairs, I notice someone looking down at me. So I look up, and this boy is looking down at me, like watching me walk to the bathroom. And when I make eye contact with him, he looks away and goes back to sit down. That was strange to me. I go to the bathroom, but to me, I'm still thinking that's strange because I'm the only one outside of there. Like I said, there's only about like 50 people and they're still all watching the game. So I'm the only one that's in that vicinity up there outside of the stadium. So I'm the only one walking to the bathroom. So something in me is telling me, okay, Lizzie, don't let your guard down. Something about what's about to happen, or something's about to happen, or something is fishy, something is going on. But I'm like, okay, girl, just go use the bathroom and go hurry up. It's a women's restroom, and then there's a men's restroom. But I go inside the women's. The men's is not even anywhere to be seen on that side. I didn't even see it. I assume it's on the complete opposite side of where the women's restroom is. Just for picturing purposes, that restroom is a public restroom, obviously, to where anyone can come in. So it's not one of those restrooms where you walk in and there's only one toilet and one sink. It's a restroom where there's multiple sinks and there's about 7 stalls. But mind you, there is a lock on the door. I grabbed tissue to go and lock the stall because I don't like touching anything when I'm using a public bathroom. So when I grabbed the tissue to lock the stall, I was like, before I take off my pants and basically invulnerable right now, let me go back out there because I noticed that there was a lock on the door. Let me go back out there and lock this door, the main door, to get inside of the bathroom. I figured I'll be quick. If anyone needed to use the bathroom while I was using the bathroom, I will be done before, they have to wait too long. I go back out to go and lock the door because one thing about me, I'm always on my P's and Q's. I'm always cautious of my surroundings, and I can never be too safe or too careful, especially as a woman, and I'm by myself. I'm completely vulnerable at this point. Like, if anything were to happen to me, no one would have known. Nothing, There's no cameras out there. It's just like, there's no one. So I lock the door and I go back in the stall and I close my stall and I lock my stall, and I pull down my pants to use the bathroom, and all I hear is the doorknob rattling. I'm like, what the fuck? Someone's already coming in to use the bathroom? Like, no one was around me. No one was behind me. I quickly pull my pants back up because honestly, the main thing for me was I was kind of scared because it was like, it came out of nowhere and it sounded a little bit aggressive that someone wanted to come in. So, and I was also like, I don't want to be in here with anyone else. So I just like kind of, when you lose your appetite, I kind of like lost my appetite or desire to use the bathroom. But I still needed to use the bathroom. But I just was like, you know what? I'm going to hold it and I'm not going to use the bathroom right now because that's very strange because they kept trying to come inside. So I stopped trying to use the bathroom. But I also didn't open the door right away because I was just like kind of scared, if I'm being completely honest. So I waited until, it was about like 30 seconds after I noticed that the door wasn't rattling anymore, because I didn't want it to be like the door's rattling and I opened the door right away and then, someone tries to come and kill me. So I waited a little bit. And then when I opened the door, I acted like I was done using the bathroom. So I opened the door and I walked out and I noticed a man walking away from the bathroom, and then looked back and he was like, oh, do you know where the men's restroom is? I said, no. You don't know where the men's restroom is, and you come and try to come into the women's restroom, and you're fighting with the door when you see it's locked? My heart was to my feet. I was so scared. I was walking so fast back to the stadium. I was like, what the fuck just fucking happened? I was terrified. So I ran, basically like fast walked back to where I was sitting at the stadium, and I told my family members of what just happened. And I asked my brother, because I still really needed to pee. So I was shaking while I was telling him the story, and you know, he's a big muscular guy. So I was like, can you come to the bathroom with me? So I went to the bathroom, and he stayed outside of the bathroom while I used the bathroom. And yeah, I was able to use the bathroom, but I don't know, that was just really, really creepy. And I don't remember seeing the guy in the stadium. Like, I was looking around for him, and something about that just really freaked me out. Now, it could have been a coincidence. Maybe he really was looking for the men's restroom and couldn't find it and assumed no one was there, and, you know, just tried to use the women's restroom. But that's no excuse to come into a women's restroom. You don't know who's in there. You do not, as a man, you don't come into a women's restroom. You have the privilege and ability to be able to whip that shit out and use the bathroom in the woods somewhere, or like in the corner somewhere. You know, don't come into a women's restroom to do your business. That's inappropriate. And that's unsafe. So I just felt the need to tell this story, because as a woman, you can never be too safe. You can never be too safe. Only God knows what could have happened, what would have happened, God forbid, you know, if the door was open and he came inside with me just alone in there and my pants were down. I was naked, basically. So yeah, everyone, ladies, please be safe. Never be too careful. Never be too cautious. Always be on your P's and Q's. Watch out for your surroundings. And yeah, listen to your intuition, because my intuition possibly saved my life. Honestly, like I said, it could be a coincidence. I don't know. Like, I really do not know, but I'm just glad I wasn't there to find out.
You know that they say women are more intuitive. Have you ever heard of that? That's not true. Women are more sensitive to frequency. That's what you're picking up, right? Men, we suck at this, right? Every time someone's come into my life that future was going to screw me, my fiance told me about it a month to a year before it happened, right? Because that intuition is as sensitive to frequency. So women, when they interact with other people, they are looking at your eyes and they are talking to you, but trust me when I tell you, they are sensitive to your frequency. If you lack authenticity, they know it. They might not be able to put a finger on it, but they know it. Because words matter, thoughts matter, images matter, and frequency matters. Is I want you to stand 6 feet from the mirror, and I want you to look right into that mirror, and I want you to say these words. You're beautiful. You were created in God's image. You have a purpose. And your purpose is to change the face of humanity. Your purpose is to infect and touch people's well-being. Because whether you're a real estate agent or a health services professional, or you drive a truck or own a beauty store, if you are in service of other people, if you want to impact people's well-being, then the universe will reward you with wealth. The root word of the word wealth is well-being. It means to be well, right? So don't think of yourself as selling somebody a piece of real estate. Think of yourself as giving them a place to raise their children, a place to make love, a place for them to rest and relax and call their home. Change the way you think about how you are in service to humanity, and it will materially change your life, and it will materially impact your success.
Ready to go down the pool. I'm at my boo's house, right here. About to grab my keys. Got my little rental car because I'm here in town. Long distance, right? He keeps his receipts and all this type of shit here on the counter, okay? And something, the receipt from last night when we went to dinner was up here. And something just told me, this is our receipt, to go through these fucking receipts, all right? Pull up this one, all right? From, where's the date at on here? I don't know. I can't say. Oh, the 12th, all right? And it was two of these, whatever that is, I'm guessing a drink, and then 2 other drinks. And I'm like, maybe he was just out drinking. Nope, gets worse. Find this one from a Thai restaurant, all right, from the 12th as well. Oh, he just made a fucking day of it. Here we go. 2 different dinners, all right, appetizer, 2 different dinners. And I'm like, you know what, maybe he was just hungry. Party of 2. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just, I'm already here. Might as well just go through the rest of them. Here it is. True Food Kitchen on the 22nd. Okay. 2 different meals. All right. Party of 2. Party of 2. This is how stupid I am. Leave it right there on the counter. And it's crazy because, like, no, I would never think, oh, let me look at the receipts on his counter. Like, we look for, you when you think you're looking for shit, you think you're gonna look through their phone or, you know, their social media. It would really be right here in our faces. Right here. I've been here all weekend. It's been on the counter this whole time with all of this other stuff. Right here, just in my face. Chilling. The universe really be sending you shit right in front of my face. And I was like, something just told me, like, let me just look through these receipts real quick. Something just, why? Why would I want to go through receipts?
I'm gonna take it a step further. A woman's intuition is crazy when she can see shit in her dreams. But let's talk about when a woman can start feeling energy that is not hers. That's when I know there's someone else. Yeah, because these emotions ain't mine.
Mom? Mom?
I don't tell this story a lot because I don't get it. I was sitting next to my mom. I was in 4th grade. Out of nowhere, my mother turns to me and goes, "You're not going to school tomorrow." And I go, And when my mom growing up, she said something, just how it went down. So I was like, huh. And then I went, fuck, but we're going on a field trip tomorrow. We're going to Little Vietnam in the city. And it's just all eating candy and fucking around. I really wanted to do it. So I go, but we're going on a field trip. We're going to Little Vietnam. I really want to go. And she goes, when do you leave? I go, first thing in the morning. She goes, when do you come back? I go, 3 o'clock. She goes, you're not in the school at all. I go, no, we get dropped off. We get on the bus. We come back at the end of the day. She thinks for a long time. She goes, you can go to school. The next day, there's a true story. May 20th, 1988. A woman walks into my elementary school through the door that my class was in. I used to get in a lot of trouble as a kid, and I used to always talk, so the teacher pushed me in the far right corner, so I sat away from the other kids, and I was right by the door. A woman walked into the school wearing a robe and nothing underneath. I know me. I would have commented. I would have said something. I would have tried to show off. I would have tried to get laughs. There's no question. The room was empty. She walked through, walked down the hall, walked into another room, shot 7 kids, killed one of them. True story. To this day, my mom cannot explain why she didn't want me to go to school. When I've talked to her to this day, and I've brought it up to her a lot, she goes, I don't know, Jake. I had a feeling in my gut. The kid goes to school, you're never going to see him again.
Mom's awesome, yeah, and she's right.
But what is that?
Tell me your craziest story about intuition and how it ended up being true. I want to be free.
So I don't know if this is intuition or if this was just a guardian angel. So my son was about 10 or 11 months. He wasn't walking yet. And at that time I was working during the day and I was taking college courses at night. And when I got home from work, I'm chilling with my baby. Everyone was outside. All the elders were outside just hanging out. It was summertime. And my son's father had meat on the grill. After a while I was like, hey, you know, I got class tonight, so take the baby so I could sleep for like 2 hours. He's like, oh, okay. So he takes the baby. I go to sleep. I am in a deep sleep, knocked unconscious. And then I hear this voice say, get up. It was a man's voice, and it jumped me out of my sleep. And I'm thinking I'm about to see, like, my son's father, like, hey, yo, you know, you're oversleeping, get up. But when I jumped out of my sleep, I looked around. Nobody was there. No one was there. But then when I finally like kind of came to my senses, I heard a voice say, Jesus Christ, get the baby. And my son's father, they're all from Trinidad, so this is a Trini accent, so I know, okay, this is coming from the backyard. This isn't coming, like, it's not the neighbor. Something told me, like, get the fuck out the bed. So once I hear Jesus Christ, get the baby, I jumped out the bed. I looked in my living room. There's Legos, no baby. I looked in my son's room. He's not in the playpen. So I'm walking down the hall and I see my son's father. He had a man cave and he would never leave the door open because, you know, the guys be back there watching sports and stuff. So the door is open and I'm like, that's odd. Junior never leaves that door open. And I hear screaming, Jesus Christ, get the... So as I look, my baby is hanging out the window. Just, is my child is grown, he's 15, but just still thinking about it makes me... So I grabbed my son by his little ankles and I just hugged him and I screamed. I screamed so hard that I made my child scream. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about this shit. I held him and I screamed and I screamed. And like 30 seconds into it, my son's father is upstairs and I've never seen that man scared. I never seen, when I tell you the look of fear in that man's eyes, that by the time like he realized the baby was okay and he was trying to like to calm me down, he was just like, where the fuck is Dawn? So I was like, Dawn? He's like, I told Dawn to watch him. So apparently, like I said, everybody was liming outside, but he was upstairs with his cousin watching the game. And he basically told his cousin, hey, watch the baby for 2 minutes. Let me just go and check on the meat on the grill. So he went back in the backyard to flip the meat. Dawn just left the baby. We don't know. Dawn was in the basement. My baby father beat the shit out of him. Like, the family had to stop him because he's like, you almost fucking killed my kid. It got to the point where the women that were back there at the time, they were like in their 60s and 70s. They were all just like this, waiting, just preparing for my child to fall. They were just like, Jesus, get the baby. And my son's father had to leave the backyard, run up the steps, and then up 3 flights of steps because we were on the 3rd floor. And by the time he got there, I was already there. I don't know if it's a guardian angel. I don't know if it was my inner self intuition talking, but it was a man's voice. And I will never forget this. And this shit happened 15 years ago.
Story time on why you should always follow your instincts or your intuition. Before I could give y'all the story time, let me give y'all the breakdown on what an intuition is. Because believe it or not, some people don't have any idea what that is. Of course, y'all know I got to tie etymology into it. So in Hebrew, the word belly means way of thinking. I know y'all heard the saying before, I should have followed my first mind. What most people are referring to is their belly or their gut instinct. Even when you look it up on the internet, it'll tell you we have 1 brain or we have 2 brains or we have 3 brains. Like, they don't even know. 1 thing's for certain, 2 things for sure. I definitely believe we have a brain inside of our belly. Think about when you get scared or nervous or you go into fight or flight response. Most of the time you feel that feeling in your belly first. It's called instinct and intuition because you have to go inward for this feeling. You can't get this externally. Okay, so now with all that being said, let me tell y'all what happened. So I went to go pick up my daughter last night from work, and my youngest daughter, Jada, wanted to ride with me. She wanted to go get some snacks. She said she was in her big back season, child. Jada is 13. She's in her independent era. She has her own car, her own account, all of that. So she wants to spend her money. So she said, Mom, I'm going to go in the store by myself so I can go see my sister and go get these snacks. I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. So I pull into the gas station. I noticed that there's not many open spaces, but I pull into the one that is open. When I pull into that space, I noticed that there is a white van on the right side of my car. So I look over, you know, because I'm always keeping my head on the swivel. Because I have 3 daughters and 2 identical grandsons that I don't play about. I'm always in bodyguard mode when it comes to my babies. I notice a man sitting in the van, but I try not to be like a Karen and be all up in people's business. So I just turn away. But as my daughter's getting out the car, I'm all up in the business because now I need to see what's going on in her area and what's near her. When she get out the car and close the door, I can see him moving around, and he moving a little too much for me because now I see him sitting up and peeking over in my daughter's direction because what are you looking for? Damn near broke my neck trying to look at this man because what do you need? And if you live in Georgia, you know this is one of the highest areas for sex trafficking. Not on my damn watch, though, and not with my babies. So then here's when the gut feeling kicks in, because now I'm like, I don't feel right. Something don't feel right about this, because what is he doing? Is he waiting for somebody? Like, what is he doing? Now I want to be all up in his business. I'm not going to lie, now Karen mode has been activated. Now I'm all in your mix. What are you doing? So your gut feeling is just a feeling. It's not going to tell you exactly what to do. It's just going to warn you. So as I park, once I moved from the space that was next to him, now I can see that he peeking at me through all the cars. So now we playing peekaboo, because what are you... One thing about me, I ain't scared of nothing or nobody. I want you to see that I'm looking at you. As I'm looking at him, I'm grabbing my purse. Y'all know why I ain't even no need to explain. Stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. You feel me? Now I could tell I'm making him a little nervous because he getting real fidgety. Now mind y'all, Jada been in this store for a little minute. And my middle daughter, Amaya, is also in there because remember, she's working. Within this whole time frame, this is like 10 to 15 minutes that Jada's in this store because she's in there bullshitting around with her sister. But I could see them. I could also see his ass at the corner of my eye. I'm still wondering, like, why you haven't got out the car yet? Why ain't nobody came to your car? What are you doing just sitting in this parking lot? Now at this time, before Jada comes out the store, Amaya's co-worker is sweeping the grounds, which I don't feel like they should have these young kids out here sweeping no grounds at 10, 11 o'clock at night, especially by themselves. She starts to sweep over there where that man is sitting. And this is also near like the dumpsters. So it's not a whole lot of traffic right there in that area. It's still close enough where I could see. She just sweeping, minding her business, you know, not being alert, which I told Maya, make sure you tell your coworkers and make sure you stay alert at all times. Getting excited or something, because now he done got bold and stepped out his vehicle. I don't know why he did that. Because here come me, stepping out mine. Because what are we doing? What are we doing? And no, I don't know that girl from a can of paint, but I don't have to. Like I told y'all, not on my watch, not with my babies or not with anybody's babies, ever. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I looked over to him and I told him and I mouthed to him because, see, we was too far away for him to really hear me, but I mouthed to him, I wish you would. Politely got his happy ass right on back in his little van and continues to sit there. Now, by this time, my daughter's coming out the store, both of them. So I'm really watching because try something. At the same time, the police are now pulling into the gas station. So now I'm really watching him to see what he gonna do, because this gonna let me know if he was being suspicious or if I was just being paranoid. But what do you know? My intuition was right, as always. Guess who left out of there damn near on 2 wheels when they saw that officer? You right, his ass. So if he wasn't up to no good, why he leave immediately when he saw that cop? There ain't no telling what he would have did to that young girl if I wasn't standing right there. Before y'all ask, why you didn't tell the cops? I don't fool with them. If you black, you know why. It always turn into the fact that they act like I'm the damn criminal. So no, I'm not playing with nobody's police. The lesson here in all of this is always follow your gut instinct. Always follow your intuition. The little voice in your head is you. The higher you, the one that's guiding you and helping you throughout this life. So make sure you're listening. Make sure you're following the signs that your higher self put out there for you every single day. One of those signs is that gut feeling or that intuition. Make sure y'all let me know in the comments if you have any of your own stories about intuition. And remember, if you want to book a consultation with me, go ahead and click the link in my bio and click consultation. If you're looking for spiritual resources, be sure to check out my showcase that has books that will help you on your journey. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Seriously, let this be your reminder to never ever ignore that little voice in your head. If a situation feels wrong, get out. If a person feels off, walk away. Your gut knows things before your brain even has the time to figure it out. Let me know in the comments down below if you ever had a crazy spidey sense moment that saved you from something bad. I want to read your stories. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share with someone, and subscribe to CHELA'S TV so you don't miss the next one. Stay safe, trust your gut, and I will see you guys in the next video.